And it's time now to review some of your thoughts to the major talking points, particularly on social media. And to do just that, Jeffrey joins me. Hi, Jeffrey.
Yeah, Bukola, so a lot of talking points as you've highlighted in your top stories, and we're going to be going straight to some of them. Some has to do with what's going on in Kaduna State as far as the House of Assembly is talking about all the level of indebtedness by the former governor of the state, as well as the debate over open grazing, which is a good place for us to start. So we just want to go straight to your thoughts. So let's begin with this debate. Senate debate over open grazing is still second reading to ban open grazing, I should say. Olatunde A says if this is passed, it will address the issue with food inflation by 50%. Farmers can then return to their farms.
Well, that's one to think about, particularly when you consider the impact of grazing activities on farmers' property, so to speak. This next one is from Akboidolo Ro, who says cattle rearing is a private business. They should get ranches and stop grazing. That's what's obtainable everywhere in the world.
There's a lot of debates. Okay, that's not the one. Young Milk, he says, this bill should work across the North only. I repeat, the North only, which was also a part of the contention, because I remember the Deputy Senate President, I think, Jubril, was contesting a provision in the bill that was submitted. He said it should be expunged and redrafted and all of that, that some of the grazers, or some of the herders, rather, will, they don't even know where they are from anymore. So people, there was a lot of debate. So we're just giving perspectives to some of the things you're putting out here. So, Bukola, I think you have the next one.
Yes, indeed. And this one is from Sen Arohe. And they say some of the owners of these cattle businesses here will oppose this law simply because they don't want to take responsibility for their business, pay for ranches, buy feed for cattle, and not to be feeding freely on the farmers' crops, sell them to consumers, and make your money.
Exactly. So that's another argument, that just like farmers purchase land and cultivate on land, you're moving your cattle or your cows around. It's a private business. Why don't you, because of the clashes we're seeing, why don't you get a space? Do it as a business as well. You know, if you need subvention or intervention or grant, that's a different kettle of fish. Ajuba 101 says, this bill is not supposed to lead to rancor. All dairy farmer needs to do is to have a ranch. Get trucks that brings feeds to the farm and feed the animals. It will make them healthier and fatter. Also, it will offer security to both animals and the herders. Well,
I believe it's just left for the government at the subnational levels to encourage, the herders to see the benefits that are bound in developing ranches. There is a whole value chain worth billions of naira.
Exactly.
Talk about the hides, talk about milk that the cattle herders can profit from, and in fact embrace a sedentary lifestyle rather than,
Yes, there's that part of it again.
So movement.
Well, it's how it's almost a culture to some of them, but now it's causing conflict, so it has to be reviewed some kind of. The Nigerian Senate has also approved a bill that grants 300% salary increase for judicial officers from the CJN down the line, I suppose. So Heavenbound says, congratulations to judicial officers. Awaiting increase in minimum wage also.
And this one is from Tafaz, who says judiciary salary can be increased by 300%, while security salary will remain as it is. Time will come when the military won't take this again. Wow. So it brings us again to that matter of even distribution of resources, the important need for even distribution of resources. But let's go to the next talking point, right?
Yeah, that has to do with that businessman that was accused of being an organ harvester. Andrew Amechi Ocheko is his name. It was actually, the story is that the gentleman invited some girls to his mansion, had some whatever with them, and suddenly the girls could no longer be found, and one thing led to the other. He was arrested, and then there were investigations. He was supposed to be transferred to Abuja for further questioning. On his way, according to report, they say he was shot and killed or so, that he was trying to escape from the police. So it's a lot of stories here and there. So, but the allegation against him is that he's an organ harvester. So, this is what you're saying. _Roofman21 with those plenty numbers. Said the love for money and luxury has sent a lot of women to their early grave. How can you meet a man on Facebook and trust him to the extent of traveling all the way to Nigeria? No, they're all in Nigeria, yeah. By the way. All right. They
traveled to Aba, I believe, which is the base of the...
And they were students of a tertiary institution.
Harvester, yes, and indeed there's a
Ghanaian among them.
One Tando, the first name escapes me now. But let's go to the next reaction, which is from Waterside _boy, who says, same old script with how they always entice them. Money, big house, good time. Some watching this will still never learn. Nobody thinks it's ever going to happen to them until it's too late. Having a son that's a cultist and a daughter that's into prostitution, I believe, which is worse. So the social media has its benefits. It also has its really bad downsides, and this is one of it.
I'm happy the next user is also putting the narrative differently, because others are looking at the girls going to do what they call it runs in Nigeria, whatever it is called. But should that qualify them to be killed? It's a no-no. So this user says, Accurate City Hunter says, we really need to investigate all the so-called business people in this country. Majority of them are not clean. I don't know how you got your data on this particular one, but your points are valid. So those are the stories we've been tracking for you. You've been saying a lot. We can't take all of it. We can't take all of it because we don't have the luxury of time. But we'll take this quick break. When we come back, we'll start our first conversation.
So stay with us. We'll be right back.